Expand 1 minus 2x to the power half in ascending powers of x up to and including the term in x to the power 3. Use your expansion to find the approximate value of square root of 0.8 to 3 decimal places. Right, starting with the expansion. Starting with the expansion that we have 1 minus 2x to the power half. So to expand this, first get a first term that is 1. Okay, now every time you have got fraction powers or negative powers, you need always to make sure that there is a 1 here. If there is no 1, make sure that it is a 1 by doing the necessary conversion. So in this case, I'll first write the first term and then to the power, the same power of the function, that is 1 over 2. And then plus, I'll write a combination, whatsoever the power, that is half. And then I'll write a 1 down here. Okay. And then I'm supposed to get the first term in the brackets, that is a 1. I'm supposed to subtract is half minus 1. That's negative half, right? And then I'm supposed to get a second term, which is the negative 2x. Whatsoever was here, that becomes the power 1. And then plus, I'll write the same power again, half. Now I'm going to use a 2. Okay, whatsoever was the first term, that is a 1. I'll subtract half minus 2. What do we get? Is it negative 3 over 2? Negative 3 over 4? Negative 3 over 4. And then whatsoever was the second term, this is negative 2x. What is down here becomes the power. Okay, the next one to be half combination. I'm now going to write 3. So whatsoever was the first term, that is 1. We'll subtract. What is half minus 3? Negative 5 over 2. And then whatsoever was the second term, which is a negative 2x, the 3 becomes the power. So I'll just end at power 3 since we just want to the term having power 3. Okay. And then from here we'll get to simplify. We know 1 to the power anything is still a 1, so I'll just write 1 plus. Now this is half combination 1. Remember we said if there is a 1 here, whatsoever is on top, that will be the value. So that will be half. Okay. 1 over 2. And then we know 1 to the power anything is still 1, so all we are going to have here is negative 2x. And then plus, what will be half combination 2? So half combination 2 means the half factorial divided by, now you subtract half minus 2. What do we get? Half minus 2, that's negative 3 over 4. Half minus 2, negative 3 over 4. We put a factorial. Oh, negative 3 over 2, isn't it? Okay, yeah, this is negative 3 over 2, meaning that even this one's supposed to be a 2. Anyway, it doesn't affect anything. So negative 3 over 2, and then whatsoever was down here, we'll write it again with a factorial. Now, half factorial means half, okay, multiplied by the number that comes before half, like half minus 1. What is half minus 1? Is a negative half. Okay, and then times negative half minus a 1. Negative half minus 1. That will be negative 3 over 2, isn't it? So at negative 3 over 2, I'll end and put a factorial since I've got negative 3 over 2 in the denominator. And then times 2 factorial, which is just a 2. So this will cancel with this. So what we have here is negative on top. Okay, on top we have got 1 over 2 times negative 1 over 2. That will give us negative 1 over 4. And then down we have got 2. So in other words, divided by 2, which I can also write as uh, times here. So the 2 goes in the denominator. So this will give us negative 1 over 8. I don't know if this is clear. Negative 1 over 8. Multiply these two. That will be negative 1 over 4. Divide by, the denominator has got a 2 there, so divide by 2, which you can also say times, and then the 2 come down to be negative 1 over 8. Okay, and then we are going to get this term, the negative 2x. Now it is squared, so it will become positive 4x squared. And then next, we are going to go to the other term, which is the 1 over 2 to the power, as power what? No, 1 over 2 combination 3. So that's the next one I'm supposed to go to. So if we get to go to the other one, 1 over 2 combination 3 means 1 over 2 factorial divided by, we'll say 1 over 2 minus 3. What do you get? 1 over 2 minus 3. That's a negative 5, right? Negative 5 over 2 factorial. And then also, whatever that is in the denominator, that is a 3, we put a factorial also. So this is going to be half multiplied by half minus 1, negative half. Negative half minus 1, negative what is it? 3 over 2. Negative 3 over 2 minus 1, negative 5 over 2. This one I'll end and put a factorial over negative 5 over 2 factorial times 3 factorial, that's a 6. So this cancels with this. So we're going to have half times negative 1 over 2 times negative 3 over 2. That is going to give us negative, or it will be positive, actually positive 3 over, that's 2 times 2, 4 times 2, 8. And then we have got divided by 6. There is a 6 in the denominator, which I can also write as times 1 over 6, isn't it? So 3 there can cancel, 3 here can go. So we are going to remain with 1 over 16. So that will be positive 1 over 16. But if you see, we have got negative 2x to the power 3. We know negative 2 to the power 3 is what? 8. And then x to the power 3. So I'll just say plus, I'll put 3 dots because the expansion is supposed to continue going, but it's just that we've restricted only to power 3. So for this one, just make sure that you are slow and calm as you are working it out, because if you rush, you might end up writing a wrong number. That is going to be wrong. Okay, we can now calm down. So this is going to be 1 half multiplied by negative 2x, that will be negative x. Okay, and then a 4 can cancel here. We're going to have, that will give us what? Negative what? Negative half x squared. Then negative, okay, a2 here will cancel with here, negative half x cubed, isn't it? It will continue going like that. So this is the expansion. So if they said find the range of values for which the function is valid, remember it is 1 minus 2x. So I'm going to get the absolute value, negative 2x, is supposed to be less than 1. Always less than. So the absolute value of this term should always be less than this value. Okay, so meaning that the absolute value of negative 2 is a 2, so that would be 2 absolute value of x less than 1. So it would have given us absolute value of x being less than 1 over 2. So this is the range for which this function is valid, or negative half less than x less than 1 over 2. You can also write it like that. Now remember, the second part is saying find the approximate value of the square root of 0.8 using the same expansion that we've determined. Use your expansion to find the approximate value of the square root of 0.8 to 3 decimal places. So square root of 0.8. Now remember, we want to use our expansion, and our expansion was in what form? It was in the form 1 minus 2x to the power, what? To the power half. So meaning that this expansion is supposed to be in that form. Of course, we know that square root means the power half, so this is 0.8 to the power half. But we need to write 0.8 in the form 1 minus 2x, okay? So I'm going to say, since the powers are the same, I'm going to equate the bases. So that will be 1 minus 2x is equal to 0.8. Let me take 2x this side. Let me take 0.8 this side. So 1 minus 0.8 is equal to 2x. 1 minus 0.8, that is 0.2, is equal to 2x. Meaning that x is equal to what? X is equal to 0.1. So we'll just substitute in that same expansion, but where there is x, we're going to be substituting 0.1. Where there is x, we'll be substituting 0.1. So this will become 1 minus, where there is x, 0.1 minus half, where there is x, 0.1, this is squared, minus 1 over 2, where there is x, 0.1, this is raised to the power 3. So this will give us 1 minus 0.1 minus 1 over 2. Now 0.1 squared, you don't need to use a calculator for to be able to work this one out. Just know when you square, like look at, you only have 1 0 in front, right? So if you square, you're going to have 2 zeros in front. You know that 1 squared is just itself. So you're supposed to have 2 zeros in front, and then you write your 1. But because you're supposed to have a decimal is supposed always to come after the first number, okay, minus 1 over 2. Now 0.1 to the power 3 are supposed to have, meaning that the 0 which you're able to see is going to come to 3 times. If it was 0.01, you have got 2 zeros in front. If you cube, meaning the 2 zeros are going to come 3 times, there will be 6. So now here you're going to have 3 zeros in front, and then you write your 1. So the decimal point is going to be here. Okay, this is going to give us 1 minus 0.1 minus. Now every time you say starting 1 divided by 2, this is 0.5. Okay, meaning that you are going to be adding a 0 and a 5. So first you have got these first two zeros. I'm going to write those 0.0. So if I get these 2 into this one which is here, that will give us 0 and 5. So that will be 0 and a 5. And then minus, I'm going to write first these three zeros, 0.00. And then if I say this 2 into a 1, that would be zero point 0.5. So I'll write a 0 and a 5. Okay, like that. Now to be able to subtract this one, well, I'm going to write it like this. I'll write 1 point. Of course, we're supposed to have zeros here just to keep the decimal. And then I'll write there's a minus. We have got 0.1. Okay, 0.1. The next one is 0.005. So I'm supposed to keep just the decimal point by putting also zeros there. So this is 0.005. Suppose just to put a 0 here. And then the other one is 0.0005, like that. So firstly, since this one this one and this one, they are all negative, meaning that they are going to be adding to each other, right? Like these are going to be adding to each other, these are three, because they are all negative. And then the answer that you find now, you're going to subtract from 1. Okay, so I'm going to write 1.0000 minus. Let me first add these. So if I get to add this will be a 0 point, this is going to be a 1, this is going to be a 0, this is going to be a 5, this is going to be a 5. So right now here is 0.1055. So we can now subtract. So before subtracting, I'm supposed to remove a 1 from this one, so it remains 0. I take it to this one, it will be 10. I remove a 1, it remains a 9. So even this one, I remove a 1, it remains a 9. Remove a 1, it remains a 9. I take that, it's a 10. So 10 minus 5, that is a 5. 9 minus 5, that is a 4. And then you've got 9 minus 0, which is just a 9. 9 minus 1, that is a 8.0 minus 0, that is 0. So I mean that this is a 0. Now the question was saying writing to 3 decimal places, meaning that the square root of 0.8 is approximately equal to 0.895. Let me punch on the calculator, we find the exact value, we see if it is the same. Square root of 0.8. So this is 0.894427191. So we can see that it's not that different. Like if you see 0.894, this is almost the same, like 0.894, is just that we ended on few decimal places. So that's why it has given us this. Otherwise